All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're talking about a revolution that's happening right now. California is, essentially, writing the first ever comprehensive rulebook for artificial intelligence. And believe me, it's creating a whole new reality for everyone: businesses, nonprofits, and most importantly, for you.
I mean, really think about that for a second. That loan you applied for, that job interview you're hoping to get, even the ads that pop up in your feed. AI is almost always there, quietly working in the background, making choices that can seriously impact your life. And for the longest time, it's been pretty much invisible.
Well, not anymore. A whole wave of new laws in California is dragging these AI systems out into the daylight. And this isn't just one little law. It's a massive shift toward transparency and accountability. A new era is kicking off, and this is your guide to navigating it. So here's our roadmap. We'll start with what's actually in this new rulebook. Then, we'll look at what compliance looks like in the real world. After that, we'll cover what happens when these systems mess up, who exactly is checking them, and we'll wrap up with the big one: what all of this means for your rights as an individual.
Okay, so first up, the rulebook itself. And you gotta understand, this isn't a single tidy law. It's more like a whole collection of them, all designed to work together to build a complete framework for AI accountability. So yeah, it's a whole web of regulations. It starts with the data privacy laws you've probably heard of, like the CCPA and CPRA. Those now give you real rights over how AI can use your personal info. But then other laws come in from different angles. One says if you're putting out AI-generated content, you have to label it. Think watermarks. Another one actually sets up professional standards for the auditors who are going to check these systems. And another mandates yearly security audits that specifically include AI. You see, it's a full court press, trying to cover every angle from the data to the final audit.
Okay, so laws are one thing, but what does this stuff actually look like in the wild? Let's get into how this all translates to the day-to-day for organizations out there. And here's what's so interesting. The core principles are the same for everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a charity looking at donor patterns or a giant bank using AI for marketing. The basic rules are the same. You have to disclose that you're using AI, you have to audit it to make sure it's fair, and, this is the big one, you are on the hook for whatever it does. The goal is always to protect the person, whether they're a customer or a donor.
This gets us to a really key point about who's in charge. Because the days of just letting the tech department run wild with AI experiments, yeah, those are over. So think about this question. It's something that boards are dealing with right now.
And the answer is a resounding yes. Any big decision about using AI can't just be a casual conversation anymore. It has to be officially written down in the board minutes. Why? Because it creates a paper trail. It makes sure the people at the absolute top are accountable for the technology their organization is using. Which, of course, leads to the next big question. A lot of companies don't build their own AI. They just buy it off the shelf. So, can they just point the finger at their vendor if something goes wrong? Nope, absolutely not. The law is crystal clear here. You cannot outsource your responsibility. If a company uses some third-party AI tool and that tool turns out to be biased or breaks privacy rules, the company using it is the one that's liable, period. It means choosing your tech partners just got a whole lot more serious.
And this is what it actually looks like in practice. This is the kind of clear, simple disclosure you're going to start seeing all over the place. It's not buried in 50 pages of terms and conditions. It's a straightforward statement that gives you a real choice and real control. This isn't just a nice idea, it's the law.
Okay, but what happens when things go wrong? Because let's be honest, with systems this complex, they will eventually fail or get breached. So what's the plan then?
Well, there's a strict 4-step playbook. The second a problem is found, it has to be kicked up the chain to a compliance officer. Then a formal report has to be filed with the state. And finally, every single thing they do to fix the problem has to be documented. This is not a casual, whoops, my bad situation. It's a serious, legally required response. And here is a number you absolutely need to know: 500. If any kind of data breach, AI-related or not, hits more than 500 Californians, the state attorney general has to be told. That makes the whole thing a public record, and suddenly the stakes get a whole lot higher.
So, having policies is good. Having a plan for when things go wrong is better.
But you also have to prove you're doing it all. And that means getting ready for a visit from a whole new type of regulator, the AI auditor. When these auditors come knocking, organizations have to be ready to open the books. And we're not just talking about one report. They need to show everything, from their initial risk assessments to maps of how data flows through their systems, to the bias audit reports, logs of past incidents, and even proof of staff training. Every single step has to be documented and ready for inspection. And don't think for a second that this is some distant, far-off future. Government AI audits and those mandatory cybersecurity checks, they're slated to start as early as January 1st, 2026. That is right around the corner. And by 2027, the professional rules for the auditors themselves will be locked in. The clock is officially ticking. So we've covered the laws, the rules, and the audits. Now let's get down to brass tacks. What does this new AI rulebook actually mean for you? First, let's just clarify a key legal term you'll hear a lot: automated decision-making technology, or ADMT. It sounds technical, but it just means AI systems that make important decisions about people, like if you get hired, if you get a loan, or if you qualify for a service. That's the kind of high-stakes AI these laws are really targeting. So all of this comes together to give you a powerful new set of rights. You now have the right to know when these systems are making decisions about you. You have the right to opt out of that kind of profiling. You have the right to demand that they delete your data. And this one's huge. You have the right to fairness, which is backed up by those mandatory bias audits. These aren't just suggestions. They are real, enforceable rights that give you more power. When you step back and look at the big picture, what California is doing is building the first real set of guardrails for the age of AI. It's moving us past abstract conversations and into the world of concrete rules and rights. It's a huge, huge experiment in governing technology. And that leaves us with one last really big question. Is the rest of the world paying attention? Because if history is any guide, what starts in California rarely stays there.